Hello, anybody who's already here? I'm just getting everything set up as usual. Bear with me while we get the stream set up. Glad to see you all here today. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Hey Corey, nice to see ya. Just getting everything set up and ready to go. If you haven't gotten your stream thing in yet, that would be a great time because it's open all throughout the stream. We're all just got all my pets in my room, chilling. My sister's dog was like, please don't leave me alone, so she's hanging out here. Both my kitties are hanging out one's on the bed and one's on my nearby dresser. They're both falling asleep, so everybody is sleepy in the house. Hello! Glad to hear your neck's feeling better. Honestly, I'm kind of in a similar boat with some pain. I've got some lower back stuff that is being just a rude son of a gun. But luckily I have a heating pad, and so I'm getting through things. Hey 8K, good to see you here. Let me know if again, if there's any audio issues or anything like that, just say so in the chat, and I'll do my best to get them fixed here before things start really ramping up. Audio stuff looks good on my end. Like I can see the little bars going on, but it's always good to double check how it's coming through on other people's end. Oh, I can check for you, Corey. One sec. Summary. Yep, looks like you put one in, Corey. I see your name on the request stream list. No problem. So how's everybody's day been going? It's hitting like the really hot part of the summer here, so I've mostly spent my day inside hiding from the sun. Because it's like 95 or so out, which I know that's not hot for some folks, but you know, I live up in the Pacific Northwest, so that is hot for us. Yeah, summer is not the best. Like, my favorite two seasons have to be spring and fall. I love a good mid-temperature, just all the nice, none of the extremes they neither have the extremes of summer or winter, so having a good middle zone, it's awesome. If I had to absolutely pick one, though, fall's my favorite. I like fall. So pretty. Bugs are dead. And Halloween has the best holidays, you know? It is nice and bright out though in the summer, and I do appreciate that, because it's the one thing that does suck about like fall and winter and part of spring is because I work night shifts. I tend to like during the fall and the winter I get some pretty serious sun deprivation because I go to work in the dark at 11, like 11 or so, and I come home from work in the dark at like 7 a.m. And then I usually sleep for, 8 hours or so, wake up around 3 in the afternoon. And then, if in winter, I get like maybe 2 hours of sun because of that. So, so the one thing that is nice about summer is being able to have a decent amount of sunlight all the way until like 8 to 9 p.m. That way I don't have to take my little vitamin D supplements. And we're getting close to time. Got 2 more minutes till we officially start. It's always hot. Yeah, I could not live in a near the equator at all. So I admire your strength. Humidity. Okay, so up here we get cold humidity, which definitely isn't as bad as hot humidity. It does occasionally suck though when like you just can't get warm and it just sort of leaches into your bones. But I will say cold humidity is better than hot humidity. Alright, and that looks like we've hit 5 o'clock. So let's go ahead, switch on over, and start our stream. Alrighty. To anybody who just joined us, welcome to our Patreon request art stream. For anybody who's newly watching for the first time, this is the stream where where you can request for me to do art. As long as you're signed up to my Patreon for $5, I'll do pretty much any safer work art you want me to do. Let's go ahead and get started by pulling up our request stream form. Got 16 or so responses, which is nice. And let me just put the digits in here and we'll see who gets picked first. All right. Go ahead and spin. Who is our lucky number one? Number 8. Awesome. Let's see what we have for number 8. Okay. So, for number 8, looks like we've got a request from Calyx the Neko. And we want a Jackalope, Jackalope Boy Satyr transformation and age regression. So, okay. Can definitely go with that. I'm Leon, the one on the right with the ponytail. Let's look at our reference. See what we got here. Okay. So this is our character that we're gonna turn into a small jackalope kid. We can definitely work with that. Alright, let me just pull these guys off to the side so I can keep them in line, and alright. Hey Ack, hey Were Animal, hey Wander. Good to see you all here too. We're getting started. Let me just... we had Calyx the Neko win for our first spin. And they want a Jackalope Boy Satyr TF / age regression. So I'm getting started on that. Alright. Just gonna... Let's... So, I need to pull down the opacity on this just because I don't want to think too much about these rough sketches, and sometimes having a bright black color like that tends to... It just feels like too strong in my brain. Like, you gotta have a good mix. So, let's see what we can do. Now, I kind of want to put them sitting down. Maybe like one, because one of the fun things about jackalopes is the antlers. So have them like sitting down, kind of dazedly, like reaching up and touching the antlers, like what the heck? Hey, shapeshifter. And then get some rabbit legs in here. That's a decent base. Let's make it even lighter. Yeah, right about there. Then now we're gonna start really filling in the... Should probably just change the color in general. Make it a gray. There we go. Zoom on in. Now, because this is an age regression, we want to make sure to emphasize the height, like the head proportions. We want nice chubby cheeks. And we want basically a lot of things to be rounder. I'm also looking at some jackalope inspiration, just so I can keep my mind fresh. Okie dokie. Yeah, a lot of how you do things, how you make people look younger has to do with proportions. Because we want for younger characters, we want larger eyes and a larger head in proportion to the body. Yep, Calyx won our first spin, and they want to be a jackalope kid. Since I know Calyx likes a decently fun anime style, let's go. Maybe a little bit of early Pokemon inspo. Let's get a good expression in there. One of the fun Pokemon art things is that they have very, very tiny, like, pupils. If I wanted to go a bit more Pokemon, I would actually make the eyes sort of like a C, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep it on my style just with a little bit of Pokemon inspo. Now, or wait, I do kind of want him, like, looking up and being curious about his antlers. So let's just move those up there. Clean them up a little. All right. Now, give him a little. Let's fill in some of the rest of the body. Get some structure in there. And kind of rough in a hand real quick. Rough in a body. Now, in order to, like, sell the visual appeal of in order to sell the antlers, I kind of want to put the rabbit ears, like, floppy. But I'm not sure if that would read to goat rather than rabbit. So let's see if I can manage both a rabbit ear and a antler as a nice. Let's see if I can put them both on the head without making it look too competing. How do rabbit ears look? Pulling over our jackalope inspo. Something more like that. And then sort of attach that there with the jawline. Get that nice and fluffy. And add some attachment points for these horns. Let's also make the horns not suit, in order to sort of emphasize that little kidness. Maybe we make them little velvet covered horns. So they're not fully fully grown in yet. Just a tiny little, little 2-point horn. Let's see where this other ear would end up. If it's over here, maybe sort of like poking out over here-ish? Or is that too emphasized? We'll figure it out. I maybe put them a little high. Horns are in front of the ears. Maybe we got one ear up. Sort of. Yeah, like that. One ear up, sort of twitching and taking a listen. Unsure what all these new sensations are. Get one hand feeling around. Maybe the hand's holding up the ear. I don't know. Here. I think I need to zoom out. I need to zoom out a little bit. Okay. Well, let's put the hand down first where it's gonna rest, and then I'll usually better to place the hand and then try and draw the arm around it, because otherwise everything kind of ends up looking weird. So get sort of just sort of tentatively reaching up and feeling the velvet. I mean, it doesn't always work, the hand placement thing, but it's usually easier to connect like the 2 points versus trying to trying to do it in between. It's just harder sometimes if you're trying to. Okay. Is that too big? Yeah, the proportions there are a little wonky. Why are my proportions not good today? Okay, let's adjust some other things too, because this hand is probably also a little small. Control T. Even as a kid, your hand should generally be about big enough to cover up your face. But no, really, that is a proportion rule. I know it sounds like I'm just trying to get you to put your hand on your face and look silly, but legitimately, that is one of the proportion rules, proportion guidelines that my teachers taught me in animation class. In general, your hand is covers about the size of your facial features. Same with, like, if you're standing up, your wrists generally fall right about where your crotch is, and that's a good way to make sure you're not drawing your arms too long when a person's standing just straight. Now, let's get some hair in so that this kid's not bald. We don't need Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And they've got sort of a nice little like sharp kick there at the back with their hair, where it's okay. Let's see if I can manage all this detail at once. So right about where this is where their little hair tuft thingy would be. Then it's a straight line, and then some little curlicues, some little fluffies, and the rest of this back here we go kind of wild with. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. That was definitely not a silly playground. That cancer test thing was definitely not a silly kids thing that they did at my school. But sounds like something kids would do. Now I'm gonna give him a little hair tie because he has a ponytail. And if you have a ponytail of that length, you need a hair tie. Gonna kind of go down there, imply that the hair's all there. And let's get some cute, like fallen t-shirt. Erase some stuff. And then let's get some structure on these bunny legs before they disappear. So hold on. Zooming out. Make sure I don't make these legs too small. Because I think I am right now, in comparison to the rest of the body. Okay. Yeah, they should be more like that. Maybe getting just the base forms in. Sort of the base forms over here too. That one might be a bit too long. And then let's make sure that t-shirt covers a decent amount. We want some rabbit modesty. Morning, Kuji. Although it's afternoon here, it's good to see ya. I'm gonna add some little rabbit feet. And sadly, rabbits do not have any toe beans, so no cute little paws, but they are pretty nice and soft. Although jackalopes specifically are usually like hairs, so we want a little bit of boniness in there, but not a lot because again, he's still a young bunny. Just erase some lines here. Put in some vague indications of collarbone. And yeah. Let's erase that bit. I think they have a necklace that's important to them, so I'll keep that on their character. I just remember from a couple of their, from a couple of their Nat 20 commissions that the little dangly bit is important, so I'll get that on there. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with where that's at. What do you guys think? Looking good? Because I'm pretty sure Calyx isn't here in chat at the moment, but I'd call that done. Maybe do a little bit of cleanup up here while I'm still like looking at it, but yeah, I think I'll call that done. Let's put Calyx's name. And now we can go ahead and hop on over to our next, pun intended, hop on over to our next TF victim. Alright, let's give it a good old spin. Okay, request number 2. Oh, looks like we have some more to add to the wheel. They'll get considered with next one. We'll add that in so that next time we'll have them in. Oh, well, let me show you. Go ahead. Here, Calyx, since you're here, this is your lovely little jackalope guy. He's got some cute velvety antlers. Hope you enjoy him. Sorry, Dora. I startled my dog because I accidentally kicked something while I was moving around. Okay. So we're going for... We're starting our second one, which is... Now we're going for our second one, which is number 2. And Kuji, looks like you showed up just in time, because you got picked. And we want a melodic mermaid TF, which is lovely. Let's pull up your references. We'll take a look at what we got going here. Whoop. Yep, 2 for 2 is oddly fitting. Hi, Dora. My dog, my sister's dog, Adora, wants to say hi. Ooh, pretty. That's very fun. Let me go ahead and we can... So do we want our... So just to clarify, we want the cat girl in the midst of transforming into this melodic mermaid, correct? Or is it a coming straight from human to a cat girl melodic mermaid? Both can be done. I just want to know what the preference is. Let's pop this up. And then straight from human, okay. Do you have a before human form or reference, or just I can even work with it just a description, you know? I think I'm gonna have them looking sort of down at their body as... Gotcha. So what's our human victim look like? I'm gonna go ahead and... Alright. Girl already in the reference dressed. Okay. So let's get sort of a nice good flow going. I'm gonna have some like legs in, because I kind of like the mermaid where it's like an elongation of the spine and then the legs sort of shrink away. So that's what I'm doing here. Having her already be floating. Maybe she got pushed into the pool. And that's what started all this. Have some wavy hair in the background. Turn our opacity down a bunch. Start working on top. All right. Let's start by building our frame. That's one of the nice things about art is you can always start with something that you know in general. Like, if you're not great at feet, leave those to the end. If you're not great at Something you can start with what you know and then build off there. Especially because when you start, like you see, I start with like real simple stick figures, just to figure out the general placement of things. And then with digital art, you can always adjust exactly where things go eventually. Yeah, good timing on your part. Zoom out a little so I can get a better feel of where I'm at. And that would be stomachs. And we want one leg hanging out up here. Maybe this leg is like slowly becoming a side fin or something like that. So let's have it like you live, Scuzz? Good for you. Good to see you living. Then maybe have this leg a bit more. We want this big tail integrated into the body. So let's integrate better. And have this leg be mostly fin. I'm kind of trying to base it off the fins that are attaching like these things. I know they're kind of where the wings are supposed to be, but trying to see if let's figure something else out. And yeah, it is kind of a weird question to try and parse. Because, you know, what are mermaids aside from, like, fish naga? And what are naga aside from snake mermaids? I'm kind of gonna, like, I'm sort of trying to, I think I want to go with, like, maybe her legs are developing into those, or the mass is becoming part of them. I don't know. Trying to think of the logistics of TF sometimes can be not a good idea. But I should probably just ignore it because it's going to be covered by a dress anyway. So I don't need to think about that. Not right now. Let's get some good flowy dress action going. Now the wave pressure is going to be like suctioning it on this side and having it flare out on this side. And that makes sense, but so I'm gonna scrap some leg plans here. Maybe make sort of sort of a stump showing where the legs are becoming entangled or meshed with the body. And just, you know, a little bit of body horror into the prettiness of Mermaid. Let's get that to be 3D. Adding an alternate side to it. And sort of slim down that area. Let's put a face on her. Let's have her ears starting to become cat ears. Not quite there yet. Then definitely getting a little bit of a shocked expression. One ear over here in a slightly more cat-like state. Let's get the rest of the neck drawn in. Put some arms on. Sort of have it trailing off over here, like, what the heck? And have another hand over here, maybe slightly becoming a paw. Maybe give it a little bit of webbing going on to sort of integrate the two halves, as well as a little bit of fur growth. Cool if I do her hair sort of similar to how she already has it as a cat girl. I mean, hair is one of those things in TFs that I find makes the most sense to stay the same, because, you know, hair is already kind of dead. And, like, you know, sure, sometimes it's fun to have the hair changing for dramatic effect, but, like, if bringing logistics into it, if there was an IRL TF, the hair would probably stay the same, like, just because of the way things are built. Just because it's already dead and can't transform more. Give me just a second, I need to let my dog out. I'll be right back. Here you go, Dora. Go on. Okay, I'm back. So let's go ahead and start putting that hair in. Yeah, and in general, hair change is generally a fun magical bit. Then let's pull the rest of this hair. We want it nice and flowy. Because underwater, if you have long hair underwater, it does crazy things. I used to be on swim team, so I know. That's why you always wear a swim cap, because your hair, just long hair with goggles, is just the worst. Like, having to untangle your hair from all that, from the plastic, pulling stuff and pulling like big old chunks of it out just because of how the way, just because of the way that it works. Not fun. Not fun at all. So that's why you wear always wear your swim cap. If you're wearing goggles, at least. Otherwise, you would become very bald very quick. Let's add a little tooth. Oh yeah, long hair underwater is definitely a physics annoyance. Do you know that when they were first plotting out The Little Mermaid, they intended Ariel to have curly hair. They intended that up until somebody pointed out, "Hey guys, why the hell are we trying to animate curly hair underwater?" And everybody was like, "Okay, yeah, fair. Nope, fair point. Totally fair point." I never got green hair, but that's also because I'm naturally a brunette. And even though I was in chlorinated water a lot, it just never really did horrible, nasty things to my hair because I took care of it. And because the only people that kind of sometimes got a green tinge was girls with blonde hair. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the collar here. Looks like we've got... Oop. So we've got a setup where we have a collar. It comes down to a set of lapels in the front and a big old bow. You got this nice bow. Sorry, I know I'm blocking the chat out right now, but need to see the details up close. Get a little flowy action there. Okay. It's probably fine. Ah! And my things got all screwed up. Darn it. Alright. You go over here to the banish to the other screen. I can now think about this. Alright. Then this collar, sort of like a sailor collar, I imagine. So that would also be floating as well, just a little bit. And it looks like there's some sort of undershirt situation going on. I mean, she's got a little heart collar, but it does look like there is a little undershirt. And then sort of a lace panel up front. Let's put the lace panel in. And a little bit of give, because shirts isn't just tight to the body. Then, does look like there's some sort of bow situation going on in the back as well. We're gonna hint at that, but not play around too much with it, because it'd also be getting pulled around by the underwater physics. And now, to do the detailing of the actual tail. Which, I am probably going to do the pattern off screen, because it's a big pattern. I'll put some basics in, but I imagine right now all the hair stuff is going on underneath. Let's add the apron as well, because everything has a lot of physics underwater. Got our apron coming in clutch up here. Kind of hiding that hand. Whoops. Well, maybe we'll reposition that hand later. And our apron has little curly burlies. And then we've got some nice big cartridge pleats over here. And that would be like that. There we go. Let's get a little bit of fur going on up there, and then... Okay, time for the tail. It's got sort of like a fan shape going on. There's 4 fantails. We want them decently round but we also kind of want to add a little bit more zhuzh. Get our circles in. And this is just, you know, some quick patterns. I'll play more with it when I ink stuff. But yeah. Alrighty. I think I'm pretty happy with where that's at right now. I'll maybe add her hand over here. This is a janky hand, but again, I'll fix it in post. There we go. What do you think, Kuji? Looks pretty good? Maybe a little bit of zhuzh. Just a little bit. Glad you like it. I'm gonna put a couple of markings on her cheeks as they're starting to come in, starting to change. Let me just go ahead and pop your name over here. Kuji. Yay! I'm glad you like it. Alright. Now let's go ahead and get our 3rd participant. If we get number 3, it'll be very fun. Let me just make sure don't have any other late responses. Nope, still 18. Alright. And we spin. Okay. And number 16 is selected. Let's see who number 16 is. Radian. Okay. Please turn Radiant into a big cuddly alligator gal. Maybe rubbery goop. Awesome, awesome. Pretty sure this is the same reference picture that it usually is, but double check. Yep, it is. Hey, Rad. All right, Gator Gal. Gator Gal. Yeah, sometimes people are. I guess people tend to wait a little bit to get their stream requests in, which is okay. All right. I need some gator reference. Not gator utility vehicles. It's fine. Let's actually look up alligator rather than having it accept any slang. Gotta look at some cute toothy maws. They've got some fun shapes. All right. And as always, you know, Brad likes a little bit of goopiness. And she wants a cuddly alligator specifically. So let's go on to the bottom layer. Doo-doo. I think it'd be kind of fun to have Radiant like looking back. They're not here at the moment, so we can't really get their input, but have them looking back at sort of a big old alligator tail and maybe some alligator like legs that are developing. Yeah, something like that. Sort of, maybe a little bit dragony, you know? But what are gators except the closest IRL thing we have to dragons? Definitely going to be doing a bit of a muzzle, of course, because you can't get rid of the muzzle in that, but well, thing's still open, Frost. If you want to put one in late, totally fine. Okay. My heating pad is getting too hot, so I am turning it off real quick. True, we do also have Komodo dragons, but, like, but yeah. Alrighty. let's get to going. Now, I know gators don't have boobs or anything, but I know Rad likes the big, soft, and squishy. So let's go for big, soft, and squishy. Very pear dragon type of build. Rather than being, you know, rather than being strictly accurate to what's going on. I'm sort of envisioning that they found some mystical swamp goo. Started making them into a gator. Get some claws in there. Bit too big. Let me look at how their hands work. Okay. The hands be like that. So kind of stumpy, kind of clawy, but maybe not as stumpy and clawy as I was drawing it. Looks like they kind of have like a ridge almost on one side. And then turns down and has the little stumpy claws. I'm also looking up some alligator leg reference, because it's definitely not really similar to a lot of the legs I usually draw. It's sort of similar to a frog in that it has like a very like base forward design. And then it's like, you know, here's the legs. Yeah, not great. They've got kind of like definitely a fold over effect. And you want to make sure there's lots of wrinkles in a gator, because gators have lots of wrinkles and lots of scales. Yeah, we still do want to keep this kind of anthro, so kind of anthro and definitely cartoony. They have webbed feet. That's neat. Got some webs. Get that nice big old tail in there. Let's rotate things, 'cause it's always easier to pull to rotate versus push to rotate. And that screwed everything up. Okay, get back in there. Alright. So, got kind of like this top level, and then also a bottom level of scales. Does that look alright? Does that look good? Not really. Let's amp up the curves that I know Rad likes. Awesome. Good to hear that, Rad. No, good to hear that, Frost. Sorry. Names not working. Okay, I'm not happy with the legs. We'll figure out something else. Maybe we stop being as strict. And let's look at some alligator cartoons. Let's see how other people managed things. Definitely a bit more definitely a bit more dragony, but we can work with that. Let's look at where we're at in general. I think maybe let's move this shoulder up and change the position here. Get a little bit more curvy, I guess. Or, okay, so I'm having issues, people. Let me re-look at my sketch. I'm gonna start with building the body first, because that's the thing to do. Build the human bit first that I'm familiar with, and then we can build off from beforehand. Then okay. Let's go ahead and we definitely want a pear shape going on. So, you know, we want a pear-shaped setup. But I'm not sure how to achieve that here yet. Maybe we stick one leg out further. Okay. I'm gonna go steal from other furry artists. So let's look alligator furry. See how other people have handled alligator furries. Yeah. I'm kinda liking how this guy's got some stuff going on. It seems like a decent set of musculature. This one's very, very cartoonish, and I definitely like how that's setting. I think in order to get that feel right, you kind of elongate the legs, elongate the belly and torso, and do those stumpier legs. So let's do that elongation. And then I'm trying to go after that, like, sort of, that one that we sort of saw where it was sort of just, the legs were kind of sort of stumpy almost. Because that feels right. Because IRL gator legs were not made for walking around. IRL gator legs are made for sunbathing and swimming. They definitely don't really work. You know, sorry for being choppy, guys. I'm not having a great brain day, I don't think. Yeah, let's get some good chunky alligator legs in there. And get maybe a little bit more boob in. More thick muscle. Sort of a still on that. Hey, Rad, we're just working on yours. We're having trouble with gator legs. Because gator legs is tricky. And then get that tail in. Kind of, with scales, you kind of want the scales to go like almost under and be a continuation of the tail. Let's do a reversal. And nice and let's all right. got some good tail in. And this is our top of our tail, I think. You know, this will be our top level. You can see it. Most of it we'll be seeing the underside of this gator tail. All right. I'm happier with that. Happier with how these proportions are working. Get the thighs maybe a little bit chumpier. Put in some webbed feet down here. But I think that's what I'm going to work with to look semi-decent as a gator. Now let's zoom in. Put get the rest of our body going. Let's see. Get another thingies in there. Probably need a few more fingies, honestly. Like 1 or 2 more. The sort of storyline we had going on for Urad was got some magical swamp muck going on that splooshed on you and started making you into a gator girl. Gonna go with having the bottom mostly gatored, and then like definitely some rips from being from the transformation. Get some. Let's get some gooey gatorness in. Yeah. Let's zoom in on focus on our face. Now, I think we're going mid gator. We wanted some goopiness in that we thought, oh yeah, you want some goopiness, and we thought, oh hey, maybe you stepped into a mystical swamp, and that's what started the TF. Yep. And then we want a bit of a snout starting, but not full snout yet. Then get an open muzzle. And make sure and get some alligator images so I can not mess up the teeth. Okay, yes. When closed, that's how it look. Okay. They've definitely got a strong snout end. Like, And then sort of a curvy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, but without teeth, you kind of look like Barney in this. I'm sorry. I need to add those teeth post-haste. Let's zoom in a bit more. Okay. True Barney is good for hugs. But we need to get you mawed up. This just goes to show I need to improve my reptile skills. Let's put the eyes the right place. Some pins of frill for hair. Okay. Let's place some eyes. Gonna trim that down just a little bit, and that looks better. Slightly, yeah, that looks better. Pull that back. Get some little eyelashes in there. Doing better. And get the frills for hair in. Let's start by putting some regular human in, because we are in mid-TF. And have some transitional. I'm gonna go with blobs, just because I feel like we've had a bit too much gator and not enough goo in this gator goo section, so Yeah. I'm gonna finish off some goo hair. And then call this good. Just because we are getting... We are getting there. And I think I've got enough to go off of for finishing stuff up. Alright. What do you think, Rad? Good base? I think I'm just gonna go full goo there. And some glasses. Because that looks cute. Alright. Okay. Rotate, reset view. Glad you think it's... Glad you guys are happy with it. Let's go ahead. Double check that we haven't gotten any new entries. Oh, we have. We have 19 now. And go ahead and spin again. We can't do number 16 because that was Radians. No whammy, no doubles. Yeah. See, number 16 was Radian. In this case, it decides to give us number 19, which I believe should be Frost, if I'm correct with how things got put in. Yep. Hey, yeah. Nice. So I want to see like a late phase slow burn snow leopard tar TFTG where the tar's hormones have started to really have a heavy impact on him and he's realizing how fully he's turned into a girl. So a shy discovery kind of thing, like maybe it's at the point where he realizes he's not gotten a little, not just gotten a little softer and those are actually breasts now, not just too big. Or is he realizing, okay. Okay, we can work with that. Get our references. Okay. So something sort of like this. Gotcha. Let's zoom in and do our snow leopard. All right. I need to go let my dog back in the room because she's wanting back in. I'll be right back. I'm also gonna try and think of the pose. All right, come here, Dora. You want back in? Come on. All right, dog is back in. I have a little cat door in my bedroom door, just because, you know, my room is where all the cat stuff is, and like, you know, litter box and food and stuff. So they need, you know, they need access to it without me having to keep my door constantly open. But I say that because whenever this dog wants in, she will stick her head through the cat door and just kind of sit there and be like, let me in. Please, I want the loves. And I'm just like, okay, fine. She's also a reason that the cat door doesn't have a flap anymore, because she rammed her head, she was play chasing the cat, and rammed her head right into the door and broke it. She's a rotten girl. Yes, you are. So rotten. Alrighty. How should we have this character? Yep. I'm kind of feeling like a little, maybe like an embarrassed hold. Got a little bit of squishiness up top as well. Do a tar from the front, sort of sitting down. Maybe like both paws in the center, and then have the tail curled around. Yeah. That's probably about good. Let's get our body in. And a little bit. We want it to be subtle because, again, you know, this is the beginning of things. And sorry if I'm being a bit quiet. Again, just kind of low key. Neck would go here. We want it a little bit tilted, sort of convey that awkwardness and discomfort. maybe a bit too big. At least in comparison to the... Yeah, zoom out. There. Gonna put them in hoodie, because that is one of the classic dysphoria outfits. The traditional, ugh, I don't want to have to think about these, you know? Now to take a look at some snow leopards from the front. Okie dokie. They're pretty thick. Yeah. They're pretty thick. Show me on Twitch. Can you not hear me? I'm streaming, because I am streaming with sound, and I'm narrating stuff. Okay. Then let me just go ahead and get sort of like these upper arms here. Upper arm of the paw. And then lower arm of the paw. Oh, okay. I was not aware of that video. So, sorry, I was thinking you were commenting on the actual image that I'm working on itself. So that's why there was confusion. And then I'm gonna have sort of one paw like sort of tucked up a little bit. Yeah, that's probably not the right way to do that. Make sure the rest of this cat is detailed, and then this back, honestly these back legs are very floof. I'm gonna build some of the body out. And add that foot in there, because they got some big pobs to help keep them from falling into snow. see if I can... Yeah, these are the shoulders up here. Get a bit of chest going on the lower chest as well. And this here should be, make sure these are about equal. We want that, you know, sort of shy moment going on as well back there. And I'm gonna take a look back, see if it's all reading right, or if it's not reading very well at all. Cats tend to have a lot of trickiness to them. Because they've got like a lot of extra skin. And a lot of extra fluff that underlies a bunch of their muscle. Even like regular pet cats do. Okay. That's what's screwing me up. So I've got to turn here. I've got to turn right here. Murder. Alright. Re-looking at the picture. Staring at it off screen. We've got a very floof up here. And that floof hides the paw until it's like down about here. So I need to accept the floof into my life. No. Okay. Let's break this down into shapes. Because the way that cats work, gotta imagine from the side. You've got sort of like a funky arch back here. Like rather than going straight like bleh, you know, rather than like a dog where they've got that straight back and then their legs, cats have a wah. They've got a funky sit. They've got a funky floof. So we have to think in 3D and be smart. let's be smart. All right, I'm gonna zoom. Zoom out this way a bit. And let's Why is my brain not functional today? Okay. Fudge. All right. This is where all the floof is, and the curve. What we want is some polite city hands and some balanced curve back here. Yeah. And then some pawness right here. Is this good right now? No, but I can make it better and the shapes are better. So yes, this is good. And then we take that tail and we bump that big old tail wrapping around it because they got a big floof. Is this maybe a bit more house cat than snow leopard at the moment? Yes, but it's not bad for snow leopard either. It's okay. Get the big floof tail. Maybe that's looking too scared. We want surprised but relaxed. Like curled in on themselves, sitting on their own tail. Nah. She's tucking herself in. Zoom in just a little. Get a little cleaner. Here we go. This chunkiness is just about right. Just have to detail it out more as fur than chunk. Get some good paws separation in there. Because again, they got big floofer feet. we go. Add some of the I'm gonna do a couple little spots to remind myself that this is a snow leopard, but I'm not gonna do a full detailed coat right now. So I think that's better. Again, not perfect, but better than where we were, which is all you can ask for, really. Then let's get a little bit of detail here in the hands. Again, we're going with a sweatshirt because that is the very classic dysphoria fit. And I'm gonna take this layer down a bunch so I can actually see what the frick I'm doing. Kind of want to give her like a cute little button nose rather than an anime style nose. Kind of a neutral mouth, but with a sort of slightly worried but slightly hopeful eyes. Definitely having that moment of, oh yeah, this is real. And this is more than I thought it was, you know? And a good, you know, a good indicator of some change is taking these straps and making sure that they bend, like they're laying flat and then bending on a curve. Zoom out a bit. Too far. I like my cat dog hieroglyphics there on the back. Whoops. They're getting curly hair because I think it's cute. Unless you have any major disagreements. Nope, that's way too big. Nope. Eraser. Erase that. I'm doing some slightly longer face framing pieces. A little bit of blushy blushy. And I think we'll call it good. Obviously, again, stripes will be added, things will be readjusted when I do go to ink. But what do you think, Frost? Did I capture the essence of what you were wanting? Awesome. Let's see what's next. Double check that there's no new entries. Nope, still 19 responses. And spin. Ooh. Number 1! Woohoo! Let's see who got their press stream in first. And the person who got theirs in first is Drake. I wonder if Drake's here. Post TF of the Ivy image wearing a hoodie. Okay, so from last time, I think. Let me pull up last time's stuff. Gotta go dig in a bit. Sorry, y'all. Okay. And this is what Drake was referring to. Let me see if I can find a better reference. Hey, Drake. Good to see you here. So, I'll be honest. I've completely forgot the full name of this character. So, can I get the full name of the character so that I can look them up and do an appropriate post-TF? I know it's Ivy, and then what's the last name? Or franchise that they're from? Deadlock? Because I think... yeah. It's Deadlock, because that's what came up when I search it again. Okay. Alright. Pull up the character page so that I can get some some decent images. There we go. And we wanted we want it to be a post TF. Okay. Wearing a hoodie. Well, if there's a specific fan art that you want me to pull from, definitely link that to me. Otherwise, I'm gonna work with what we had, what the references that we do have, that we have before. Okay. How do we get a winged character wearing a hoodie? Lots of slits. Let's start with getting the face in. Then they've got a very funky body type. There we go. And get a good support tail. Got some wings here in the background. Then arms are quite a bit longer than humans, which makes the fun proportions. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna start by blocking in some of the build, because got a very skinny forearm. They got the same sort of build as a Zoroark, honestly. Got the skinny upper arms and the long and kind of more bulbous bottom forearm. Thing going on. Trying to make sure I get the face shape in. And the hat. The hat is very fun. These pants are half actual pants and half body shape, like. I'm gonna double check some stuff. Like, when am I still streaming? Yes. Okay, good. Because I've had that occasionally happen before where things freeze and I don't realize it. I'm putting some general placeholders in. Good. Okay. Now we can go up to here. Start getting fine details. Oops, wrong thing. Looking at all my stuff. Alright. Trying to get a good look at the face so I can start there. So, first off, I made these ears not long enough because they are some big bat ears. And then got a very goblin-y, impish face. Got our nose all the way up here. And a nose ring. As well as some good overbite teeth. Overbite and underbite teeth. I'm going, yeah. And some hair. And let's get that hat done. Looks like their hat actually has some cute little horns. And then a brim. Which we also need, if one ear sticks out that much, the other one's also got to stick out a lot. Cute. Cute, cute. There we go. Zoom out a touch. Put her neck in. I might have made her head too big. Let's make her head a little smaller. That's one of the things that sometimes happens when you're select, deselect. Okay, come on. What the heck are you doing, select tool? Control T. There we go. Oops, don't need to turn it. There we go. And you wanted a hoodie, so let's get a hoodie on her. had a feeling that due to the length of her arms, this hoodie would not, you know, would not go down all the way. So let's draw it like that. She's got a lot of hair on one side of her face. And other side. There we go. And I'm gonna honestly just kind of draw over these pants that I put in, because I like the way that they're looking already. Of course, she's got these fun, funky, like, architectural details on this thing here. I'm not going to be super specific with it, because again, I can always detail it later. And same on this side. How does her feet work? Okay, looks like she's only actually got two big chunky toes. Sort of like Nightcrawler. I'll be honest with you, Nightcrawler's always been my favorite X-Men. His design's so good. And I love his whole shtick of being, like, at least in the comics and stuff that I read, I like his shtick of being the guy who, like, honestly has it the worst off, but is still super, like, it's still upbeat and happy and tries his best to make everybody else happy as well. It's definitely one of my favorite things about him. Now she's got some big bracelet-y things. And then sort of creepery hands. And she's got these vines that go up. Curl around. Get some detail in there as well. Oh yeah, having him be, I mean, when they remember that Nightcrawler is fuzzy, that is also the best. Have him he's like, he's a very fun character. Looks like The wings get shaped like that when closed. Go. And this might be a controversial take, but honestly, I think my favorite X-Men, like, product is X-Men Evolutions. I like it because it, like, honestly, I think that the whole, everybody's like, oh, it's, you know, it's dumb because it's superheroes, it's the X-Men when they're teens, you know, it's like Muppet Babies, and I'm like, no, this makes sense, like, character-wise, because, honestly, you know, with the way that X-Men is all about, you know, these characters dealing with their powers and coming into that, and society at large, a lot of that, like, bullshit is gonna happen to them when they're fairly young. So, having it be set in, I don't know, I've seen some people who are just, like, staunch X-Men Evolution haters. Like, comic book purists. Yeah. In lore of the universe, generally mutant powers are found out around teenhood. Which is why I think the fact to, like, have them be teens is such a good writing story opportunity. Again, this is a rough place-in for how the actual tale has that fun cone thing. Doop 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 doop. So. I was a little bit out of age for it, but it was just about right. But yeah, X-Men Evolutions is my favorite X-Men property. My favorite take on them. There are definitely some cringy moments when I look back, but, like, not as bad as I thought. Okay. What do we think? What do you think, Drake? Pretty good? Make sure I get that defined as a pocket. True. That would have been nice if they could have had more time to play around with things. Awesome. Yeah, what do you think, Drake? Did that look good enough, or at least good enough to start on? Awesome. Glad you're liking it. That's my main criteria here. Let's go ahead and spin once again, since we just started our last hour. And looks like it's number 18. Let's see what 18 is. Ransu Doragon. My OC Ransu transforming into a hummingbird moth. Shrinking included, please. Okay. Seems the wheel's been favoring, like, the early birds and the latecomers this time. I'm trying to make sure I get all the right stuff here. Okay, there's Ransu. And that's Link's broken. Or maybe I just didn't put all the right stuff in. Let me try it again. There we go. And alright. So more face refs and character refs. Shapeshifter 1. And we need images of a hummingbird moth. Let me look that up. Huh. Those are pretty neat. They are very chunky. Glad to hear you're back. We're doing some moth stuff. Hummingbird moth specifically. They kind of look like, honestly, they kind of look like lobster mixed with moth. So, neat. I have not. I need to do a little bit of clearing about and shift some stuff around so that I have space to draw. Real quick. Whop. Just scooching everybody over. Put Frost up here. Oops, don't grab the whole thing. And I'm gonna erase some of this background sketch. I can erase a lot of these background sketches. I don't need them right now anymore. And I'll use this bottom one to, this bottom section to work in. Okay. So they specified that they wanted shrinking. And moths is pretty small. So let's start. Let's start from like a pile of clothes. In particular, it looks like they mainly wear a kilt, so let's put that. Let's draw that kilt, like, just completely folded. Well, not folded, but like flopped over. Coughing. There's the belt. Vaguely. And I'm gonna put in the shape of this sort of lobster tail that this moth has. Because again, it's got sort of a funky, like I said, lobster tail. with I'm gonna scooch you down here, chat, so I can have some references up here. Whop. All right. I just need the image. Give me the image. Thank you. Okay. I'm kind of tempted to almost do like a tar situation here. Like this upper body. And then then this sort of lobster body on top with these wings fluttering open. Something like that. Let's take a look more at some of its leggies, because I want to know how they look. How do these leggies work? Okay. Very thin leggies. And big antennae. Yeah, it's a lobster. Hee. Okay. I'm gonna make this bigger so I can draw the details better. Scooching in further. And let's put an arm in here. The hand. Sort of have this fluff like coming out right here. Because this is a very fluffy specimen. Like, this thing exudes fluff and has 1, 2, 3, 4 bends to its leggy. Alright, let's try and get this leggy in. 1, 2, 3, and the third one has sort of a like longer end, and then this fourth one is extremely long and spindly, like it is the tiny delicate length, tiny delicate like Cinderella foot. And the rest of these, the front legs seem to have the most definition, whereas these behind legs seem to be like stick, 3-stick, simple. That'll work. Here we get a little bit of that like lobster tail, and then some feathery bits here at the end. Need another leg here. This is probably not great for anybody who has a bug phobia to see, but I'm very sorry. I'm gonna put another leggy over here. Sort of like mirroring position. As they're trying to, figure out this whole thing that's going on. And then we have our maybe a little bit of body horror-y. Just a nope. That's way too big. We want to make sure, Look, I know Shapeshifter, I think, is out of the chat at the moment. But I know from beforehand that they're down for a little bit of angst. So let's give them like not like a little bit of a horrified look. Not extremely horrified, but like in pain. Just a little in pain. As they're being horribly mutated into a bug. Then giving them their ears. But not their glasses, because they've outgrown those. They've shrunk out of those. I imagine the wings have just, like, burst out. So that's why they're so, like... And maybe get that little bit of antenna going. Gotta make sure they've got these big old floofy anime hair. Match their floofy lobster body. Well, that's a bit too tall, I guess. Bit too tall. Whoops. let's adjust some of that chin. Get this hair overlapping some of their shoulder. And then gonna put their, like, put these markings on here so I know where they are. Shoulder marking, shoulder marking. Some of these hip markings too. Then let's go back. Thanks, I'm glad you like the expressions. I tried my best to keep them accurate but also expressive. I think there's a couple of different types of hummingbird moth. Let's go find some. I like this kind of lacy design. So let's sort of try and copy that. We'll go branching off and then pull this . All right. This has been definitely an interesting, one of the more interesting critters I've done so far. Let me make sure I've semi-inked in this this kilt, this abandoned kilt. Yeah, just do some little patterns. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, that's enough whooshing. And let's put, what name did they put it under? Yeah, under here. Doop, doop. Rensu. Okay. If I could stop messing things up, that'd be lovely. You know, I'm actually kind of interested now in this butterfly tar concept. I might play around with that more in my own personal stuff. Alright. I think we have just enough time for one more. So let's roll the dice and see who it's gonna be. Lepidoptera. Nice. And we got number 6. who is our number 6? Major Mooch. I'd like to request my bunny girl Lucy mid-TF into snake form. This could even be where she's losing her arms if that's something you're comfortable with. Otherwise, feel free to do anything you'd like. Uh-oh. Did you not have it filled out? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know if we can fix that retroactively, but there's always next month, and so we should be good from there. So yeah, kind of take a bunny to a snake. Cute, cute. Lots of refs. I like that. Lots of refs is good. Let's pull them back over here. And make some space. Why won't you... What? Come on. I didn't draw you on the wrong layer. There we go. I'm gonna Control X. Oh, Control Z. Select, deselect. Oh, things are getting fuzzy. Get this selected and popped out on its own layer so I can overlap it with other things. Yeah, glad to hear that you glad to have you here. Good to see ya. There we go. Now it's its own layer, so I don't have to worry about messing things up. Go, just pop it up there for the moment being, and we'll work on our last bunny into our bunny snake girl. Now let's get her. Let's get some basic form in. And the fun thing with snakes is that they're kind of just one continuous line. I think we'll have it so that like one arm is like pretty much fully absorbed while she still has the other one out. Or it's slowly getting smaller. Oh, our rabbit lady is very curvy. Let's get those curves in before anything else. She's curvy and short, so I need to pull that up a little bit. Why is this steep staying so large? Now let's get the snake body going. We want to showcase that there's a curve here. We get a little bit under here. And come around that way. Yeah. I think I'm going to pull the head back a little bit. Get her ears going up here. Yeah, we got a rabbit turning into a snake. And specifically, and the person specified snake with the arms sort of like being reabsorbed back into the body. So I've got one arm that's gonna be completely reabsorbed and one arm that's still working on it. Alright. Let's get onto this layer. And get our neck in first. Get some little lines in there showing which direction things are going. And then sort of like almost like a heart-shaped chest scale is what I'm thinking. Coming down this way. Because she still does have the titty at the moment. And then no arm over there. Yep, more naga. And rotate for ease of drawing. Whoosh. Make this curve a little bit better. Yeah, it's still not a great curve. There we go, that's a bit better. We have this locomotor scale going underneath. I think that's what those are called. Because those are like... Because scooching along those scales and moving their ribs is essentially how snakes move. I wonder if I can sort of make these bunny ears turning into a cobra hood almost. Let's get a little bunny nose. Some mid transfer fangs. That's maybe a bit too out there. Need to shape the face and adjust these eyeballs so that they're in sync. And she has some nice eyelashes going on. So we want definitely want some shocked and scared. A little, yeah, shocked and a little scared. What I'm going with this one. Nah, I don't think that works super well. Let's keep the bunny ears. Got a nice long, like, ponytailed situation going on. So let's put that in back here. Add a little dynamism to the composition. Maybe not there, but like something that kind of some sort of like kind of leading line to see that the arm is disappearing or has disappeared on one side. Whoosh. My line weight is very inconsistent with this one. But again, that's something I can work on in post. And let's get a couple of decorative scales going on. And I think calling that good. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put Major Mooch's name on it. And it looks like we got just about 10 minutes till end of stream. I don't want to start anything real big. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are liking it. I think I'll maybe just do a quick doodle some Zoroarks because, or Zoruas because they're cute. Yep. I feel like drawing a little you. Just to fill the space. Making him a little rude boy. Rude boy. Oh, yep, shapeshifter, you missed yours. Let me pull it down. I put it on a little separate layer so I could squish more things onto the page temporarily. This one's yours. Yeah, if it'll move. Here we go. Zoom in, not zoom out. We kind of went for a hummingbird tar, like in that mid stage of being transformed. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Let me know what you think. Now I'm gonna continue my tiny U blip. There we go. This is not a very good, like technically correct U, but it's cute for a little bit. His head is some. One of the things I find hard to parse sometimes with Zorro is just how freaking big their ears are. They're the big-eared kings. There we go. That and the side whiskers are sometimes annoying, but I still love them. Annoying to draw does not mean it's not too hard. It's just you gotta get them looking right, or things get weird. Sometimes you have to redo them a couple times. yeah, I encourage all of you, if you want to drawing along is an awesome thing to do if you have the time. Or, you know, take this as inspiration and go draw some stuff yourself. Alrighty. And I think I'm gonna call it there. Have a little blepping you and have a good night. Glad I was able to hang out with all y'all and get some really good art done. I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, you want me to add the tongue they have? Sure, I can do that. I got a couple of minutes. I'll do just a quick, not exactly accurate, but like start of something. That way I remember it. But, anywho. Good night, y'all. Bye.